Hello guys, let's create our first container. Let's start with creating a new Docker Compose file. And inside, let's start with the version. Next we need our services. And as our first service, we're gonna have our Nginx container. We need image, which is gonna be Nginx Alpine, and you can find the official repository for this image on Docker Hub. I'm gonna include this link in the description. So we want to run our Nginx on Alpine, so this is what we're gonna use. Let's go back. We also need container name, and for now we're gonna call this docker-nginx. We also need ports, and the ports we are interested in is 80. So basically what we're saying here, from our container, port 80 exposed to our localhost to port 80. Okay, this is all we need to bring our container up. So let's quickly jump into terminal and try to build it up. So in the root directory of our project we've got our Docker Compose, so let's just run Docker Compose app -d. We're using -d flag, which means it will run in detached mode, so let's just do that. So what's gonna happen next? Docker will pull the image, will build the container and bring it up, and looks like it's done. Now we can list our running containers with Docker PS, and looks like our container is running. So now if we switch to the browser and visit localhost, we should be able to see our Nginx welcome page. Okay, great. Now very quickly about the ports. So if I say port 80 here and save that and quickly rebuild the container and go back to my browser, it shouldn't work because now we're running on port 80. So let's do that. Okay, great. Okay, now very quickly let's mount some files into our server. So let's go back to code editor. So we want to be able to have our code base within our project. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new directory called code, and this is where our code base will live. So let's do a new file and call that index.html, and inside this file let's just have simple h1 tag saying hello there, and that will do. Now let's go back to our Docker Compose, and in our Docker Compose we need to specify volumes, and we're gonna mount the volume. And what we're gonna do from our code, so we're gonna mount a whole folder into, let's do code. Another thing we will need, it's going to be our vhost. So let's quickly create some directories. We need additional directory which we're gonna call Docker. This is going to be the main directory where we're gonna store all the configuration related to all our containers. So we need another one called Nginx, and within Nginx we need our virtual host. So I'm just gonna call this vhost, and let's go back to our Docker Compose, and within here we're gonna have to mount this file. So let's do this from Docker Nginx vhost. We're gonna mount this into etc nginx conf.d default.conf. This is default virtual host for Nginx. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna mount a file in place of this file. So this will replace default configuration for Nginx. Now the only thing we're missing is virtual host content. So I'm just gonna grab this. We're gonna have a very basic configuration for now. So here we got allowed files we can run on the server, our server name, this is our domain, our error logs, and the root folder of our server. So let's save that, and let's go back to our terminal, and let's quickly recreate our container, and let's go back to our browser, and we should be able to see our h1 tag, and it's working. Very important thing, when we mount files, Docker has access to our files on our local host, so I'm gonna quickly show you that. So if I gonna update this file, let's do just update it. The changes will take effect immediately. So if I reload, as you can see, it's working, so we don't have to worry about restarting containers or anything like that. As a last step, let's just go and update our host files. So let's do sudo vim etc hosts, and let's just add entry on the very end. So for our local host one, we want our development domain, which is docker.local, and let's save that file. Let's go back quickly to our browser and let's try this domain. So and as you can see, all it's working.